I love a new year. It's just a natural chance to evaluate what didn't work or what you don't want to repeat from the last year and to get a fresh start. I like to look at it as going on a trip to a new destination, hopefully one that's better than last year's. Speaking of trips, I'm notorious for leaving the house only to return minutes later to get things that I meant to take with me. As long as I'm not that far down the road, I will go back to get what I meant to take the first time. Likewise, I've often gotten down the road and realized I had things in the back of the car that I meant to leave at home. What I love about a new year is the natural push to intentionally decide which things to take on the new journey and which things to leave behind. So, before we get too far down the road from 2016, let's talk about some things that would be good for us all to leave behind and things that would be good to carry with us into 2017 to better our chances of having a happy new year. This week, I'd like to talk about our mindset, about which kind of thinking patterns we could choose to leave behind and which kind would be good to carry into this new year. There's a book by Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck called Mindset, The New Psychology of Success. Now, the book's been out for about 9 years, but I just came across it this past week. In it, Carol describes two different mindsets, the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. Now, in a nutshell, those who have the fixed mindset think their talents and abilities are, well, fixed. You are who you are and you'll never change. Those with a fixed mindset might say or think things like, I'm not creative. I'm not good at speaking in front of people. I'm not a reader. I'm not a morning person. I could never get excited about working out every day. I tried to make New Year's resolutions many times before and they just don't work. Now, on the other hand, those with a growth mindset believe that your basic qualities like your intelligence, your talents, or even your temperament can be learned and improved upon if you give it some effort. Those with a growth mindset might say or think things like, sure, I'll sign up for that class or that training event. Hey, open it up, let's see how it works. Or, okay, that didn't work, we learned a good lesson, let's try something else next time. But generally, those with a growth mindset say less and ask more. They ask all kinds of questions, and not only do they ask smart and successful people, but they'll also ask those who might rank below them at work. They'll ask kids. They'll ask people of different cultures and worldviews. Well, enough of the fixed or growth mindset comparison. What I think is really fascinating is that through many years of studies, Dweck found that being born smart or talented have quite little to do with how successful kids will be when they become adults. She also found that there were some kids that could barely tolerate failure and others who were thrilled with it. In one test, she gave a group of kids some very difficult puzzles to put together. The difference in the kids' responses was crazy. Some kids got really frustrated. Others just flat out gave up. But one 10-year-old boy had a smile on his face and said, I was hoping this would be informative. Another boy squirmed with excitement saying, I love a challenge. This surprising difference in the kids brought about this discovery that I've kind of already mentioned, that success and how people respond to life's challenges don't depend on their natural talents or IQ, but on their mindset. So here's today's question. Are you the frustrated one or the one squirming with excitement, saying, I love a challenge? Do you have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset? Chances are, if you're like most of us, you have a fixed mindset in some areas and a growth mindset in others. But what would it be like for you to venture out into 2017 with a growth mindset in all areas? What would it take for you to leave some fixed mindset tendencies forever back in 2016? And lastly, but most importantly, where does our faith in Jesus fit into the mindset picture? How do we live out the truth of God's word that says we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us? How do we actually apply the words of Paul the Apostle telling us to be transformed by the renewing of our minds? What kind of mindset do we have if 1 Corinthians 2:16 is true, where it says, we have the mind of Christ? I write about this in my post on my website, so I encourage you to check it out, share it with your friends, and let's make 2017 a year in which we leave our fixed mindset behind and take our growth mindset or better yet, our transformed mindset with us. Have a happy new year.